Hello again everyone, and welcome to my patch 4.0.6 Demonology Warlock guide. My name's Optec of Trollbane Europe. Right, now let's look at the Demonology talents. At the bottom tier, you pretty much just got to take. So yeah, your pet's more likely to stay alive, Felguard does more damage, and you get more stamina. And the bottom tier, again, we've got to take all of these. Demonic Rebirth means if your pet dies, you can resummon it quickly. Mana Feed means you get a lot more mana back during the fight. Demonic Aegis, meh, more health. Impending Doom is awesome. This basically increases the chance of your Bane of Doom spawning a temporary pet, and it gives it a chance to reduce the cooldown on Metamorphosis transformation. I really don't understand why anyone would take Master Summoner. It seems completely pointless to me, but yeah. So, Impending Doom. Demonic Empowerment is basically a trinket for your pet. Hand of Gul'dan, this is the new spell you get as a Demonology. This is awesome. You could take this, but I wouldn't recommend it. I guess this is for PvP. It stuns targets hit by this. Molten Core is essential. This is sort of the main thing that makes the spell priorities a little bit interesting for Demonology. It basically means that there's a chance that you gain a big buff to your Incinerate, so you'll be alternating between Shadow Bolt and Incinerate based on when this procs. Ancient Grimoire, this is awesome. Your temporary pets do an awful lot of damage, and having them up for an extra 20 seconds is awesome. Now Inferno is great. This means that you can cast Hellfire whilst moving. This is a lot of fun. Decimation, basically your execute phase, 25% health or less. Your Soulfire gets replaces your Shadow Bolt, sorry. Demonic Pact, it's a passive raid buff, gives everyone 10% of your spell power. This doesn't stack with the Shaman Totem of Wrath, but it's awesome to have someone in the raid with this. Again, Cremation, this increases the damage that your Hellfire does, basically making Hellfire the AoE of choice for Demonology. And finally, Metamorphosis, your transformation. This is your long cooldown, big damage increase. Basically increases all the damage you do and gives you some unique abilities. Now, over on this side, faster cast nukes, more damage on your main nukes, and 5% crit debuff, more damage on Immolate, and less cast time on your fire nukes. This seems to be pretty much the spec you need. So here we go, 0, 31, 10, Demonology. So glyph choices for Demonology. Pretty much the no-brainer here is Metamorphosis. This just increases the amount of time you stay in Metamorphosis form, so it's just a straight damage increase. Immolate. This increases the damage of your Immolate spell, so again, Immolate's always going to be up as Demonology, so this is an increase. And the final one may confuse you slightly. This is a Lash of Pain for single target, and you'll want to swap this for Felguard if you're doing multiple targets. So I suggest you carry some Dusker Disappearance with you so you can swap these glyphs. Now for this guide I'm going to show you single target first, so I'm going to be wanting to use the Succubus. Again, secondary glyphs here, you're going to want to take Shadow Bolt because reducing the mana cost in your Shadow Bolt is nice. Life Tap, and you could take Soul Link or Fear. I've taken Fear here. Now I'm going to cover aspects of doing damage as Demonology at range. I've mentioned if you're doing single target, you're going to want to summon the Succubus. With the Glyph of Lash of Pain, this pet does the most damage. Now, doing damage as Demonology at range is fairly simple. You don't have improved Soulfire anymore, so not a lot of things to juggle. So we're going to start, as always, with Curse of Elements, Bane of Doom. Then get your 2 buffs up, cast your Hand of Gul'dan, this will refresh Immolate, and then start spamming Shadow Bolts. If your Molten Core procs, you're going to want to switch to your Incinerates. Hopefully that'll proc in a minute. Always cast Hand of Gul'dan when it's off cooldown. This effectively means you'll never need to recast Immolate. Hand of Gul'dan refreshes Immolate, and Immolate's got a longer timer. Oh, there's a set bonus. Now it's up to you when you use your Metamorphosis transformation. To be honest, I should have used it already. Should be the first thing you cast. It depends on the fight. If you're doing single target, you'll want to use it every cooldown pretty much. So, here we go. Metamorphosis. Bam. If you're at range, just continue to cast normally whilst this forms up. Again with that impending doom. There we go. So 1, 2, 3 incinerates, and back to Shadow Bolt. So with impending doom, the cooldown of your Metamorphosis transformation randomly goes down. So certainly for single target fights, it's best to use this as often as possible. There we go. That's doing damage at range. Now if it's safe to be close to the boss in melee range, you can do additional damage. As with all specs, you can use Shadow Flame. This is higher damage per cast time than your standard nukes. And also you gain the ability to use Immolation Aura. This can only be used in demon form and does an awful lot of damage, especially in AoE, but even works on single target. So let's see what a rotation will look like here. So transform into a demon, get your buffs up, Bane up, and go down. Shadow Flame, then hit your Immolation Aura. There you go, Molten Core proc, so you use 1, 2, 3 incinerates. You can see DPS has increased quite a lot by using this. Watch out if you're stood in melee range, of course. Often when range have to stand in melee range, they don't move around like melee do, so do what I do and just pick a melee and follow them. And there we go. That's doing damage while stood close to the boss. Now the major strength of Demonology is doing damage to AoE targets. Now to my knowledge there's not any class that does as much damage as a Demonology Warlock in AoE. We have the most number of, if we use all of our cooldowns at once, we easily do the most amount of damage. This can be extremely useful in fights where you need burst AoE. Maloriac Heroic is a perfect example. To do AoE DPS as a Demonology Warlock, your AoE of choice is Hellfire. This is augmented by the fact that you can transform into a demon, use your Immolation Aura, use Shadow Flame, Hellfire, and your pet's Fellstorm. If you're doing AoE damage, you'll need to use the Felguard as your primary pet. We can see this, I'll try and do it on the 2 dummies here, but essentially, if you can, cast Hand of Gul'dan. If ads or something you're DPSing need kiting, try and cast this on the ad that's at the front of the pack. This will ensure that the aura is up where the Felguard goes. So, let's try this now. Metamorphosis, Hand of Gul'dan, Shadow Fury, Immolation Aura, and Hellfire. Not forgetting, of course, that you can move around whilst Hellfire's casting. See, even on 2 targets, this is doing an awful lot of damage. Show an example of doing AoE in a raid. This is Maloriac Heroic. You can see all the ads are going to do damage. Put a Hand of Gul'dan down. I run in, put my Shadow Fury up, use my Immolation Aura, and start using my Hellfire. And you can see just how devastating the AoE is here. We were still learning this fight when I did this, so we had 3 demo locks to increase our chances of getting them all down. And if you look at the bottom, I think we get the achievement as well, because we cocked up on the number of ads. There we go. Now if the boss is on low health, you gain the decimation buff, which basically means that Soulfire replaces your Shadow Bolt. So when you get Molten Core procs, continue to cast Incinerates to get rid of it, and then go back to casting Soulfires. And that's all for now. Thanks for watching my Demonology guide. Don't forget to check out my channel if you want any point of view raid guides, hints on stat priority, gemming, enchanting, etc. Cheers again, I've been Optec of Trollbane Europe.